Hello 59 Gaming! So, over the course of the past few weeks, we have had some pretty significant developments in the area of leaked information surrounding the upcoming film Godzilla vs. Kong as part of the MonsterVerse by Legendary Entertainment. Before we jump into any specific information, please be advised that this video will contain probable spoilers, so if you're somebody who does not want to be privy to advanced knowledge of the plot of the movie, now's your chance to click off the video. Alright, so for those of you who decided to stick around, let's get into things. Godzilla vs. Kong was initially set to be released in November of 2020, but due to issues surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic was delayed until May 2021, but has now been moved up to March of 2021. The fact that this film's release date was delayed is important because any manufacturing of toys pertaining to characters in the movie, such as Godzilla and Kong themselves, would have been completed significantly before the film is scheduled to release. Back in January of 2020, an image was circulating around the internet claiming to have been taken at the Hong Kong Toys and Games Fair, which seemingly depicts action figures of multiple characters set to appear in the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong movie. While the images released aren't exactly of the highest quality, it is very apparent that one of the figures depicts a robot-looking Godzilla, which, if you're a fan of the Godzilla franchise, should immediately make you think Mechagodzilla. But that's not all we see in this image here. In fact, there are two more points of interest if you look closely. In the top left portion of the image, there is what appears to be some sort of bat-like creature, and in the bottom right of the image, there is a Godzilla with some sort of red lining or armor along his back. We currently do not have much to go off of for the Godzilla figure on the bottom right, other than the fact that it belongs to the Playmate line of toys, and more information about this figure specifically has not been released at this time. Similarly, the figure on the top left of the bat-like creature is a bit more interesting. After doing a bit of digging around online, it seems that the figure is also part of the Playmates line of figures for the Godzilla vs. Kong movie, and this guy goes by the name of Warbat, with the original name of Nozuki, according to leaked images of the figure's packaging. Additionally, the leaked packaging had this description for Warbat: venom-winged monsters that hunt the hidden depths of the Hollow Earth. So based off of this information, and assuming that it's correct, we can conclude two things about this Warbat kaiju. Number one, there are multiple of them due to the description stating monsters and not monster. And number two, they are most likely going to be found beneath the ground of Skull Island, which is heavily anticipated to be the entrance to the Inner Earth itself. Also, unlike the supposed Mechagodzilla and red armored Godzilla figures in this image, we do actually have more high quality images of Warbat in his Playmate toy packaging, so we can actually see what he looks like with much greater detail. Note that the figure also comes with an Osprey helicopter, which may imply that at some point in the movie, Warbat does interact to some degree with Monarch at Skull Island. The last thing that I want to talk about regarding figure-related news and how that can tie into what we can potentially see in the movie itself relates to something small from the SH Monster Arts line of figures by Tamashii Nations. If we take a look back throughout the timeline of the past week or so, Godzilla vs. Kong was announced to have been pushed up to a March release date instead of the initially delayed date of May, on January 15th. On January 18th, the official SH Monster Arts website added placeholder images to their upcoming release page for 3 confirmed releases in 2021, which is outlined in their changelog. Finally, on January 22nd, the official SH Monster Arts Twitter account posted an image coming from their official Instagram teasing, quote, "great things coming" from the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. While certainly not confirming anything for sure, in my opinion, all these events happening within a week of each other pretty much solidifies that the 3 placeholder images added to the SH Monster Arts website are for the 3 main kaiju that we will be seeing in the Godzilla vs. Kong movie: Godzilla, Kong, and yes, Mechagodzilla. If you still aren't convinced, then we have even more evidence for you. Back at the end of Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is the most recent film in the MonsterVerse series, there was a rather interesting post-credits scene featuring Alan Jonah returning to the site of one of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah's fight locations, and finding one of King Ghidorah's severed heads there, still completely intact. This is a very clear teaser for Mecha King Ghidorah, which we should be seeing at some point in a future MonsterVerse movie, but that's not even the most interesting thing. Prior to this post-credits scene, we have an interesting montage of different newspaper clippings popping up on screen detailing certain actions being taken by various kaiju, as well as Monarch, as they attempt to dive deeper into the mystery of these beasts, as well as ways to counteract them. We have headlines, such as one showing a, quote, massive egg, asking if a second Mothra could potentially be inside, which I believe is a teaser for Mothra's return in a future film, potentially Destroy All Monsters remake. But the most interesting newspaper article shown in this sequence by far is one with the headline, quote, Monarch boosts forces around Skull Island. If you zoom in on the fine print here, we can see something very interesting begin to take form. Quote, or even be used as a tool for war against other humans. De La Rosa went on to claim that Monarch was not only developing this mechanized giant on Skull Island, but had already tried to create organic titans in the past, and that they are the cause of several of the recent titan incidents. This reference to a mechanized giant, at least for me, is a very clear reference or teaser for Mechagodzilla, which ties in a little bit too well with the leaks that we touched on earlier. If you still are not convinced even after all of that, the final piece of evidence to tie everything together is a synopsis from the movie's official novelization itself, which reads, in a time when monsters walk the earth, humanity's fight for its future sets Godzilla and Kong on a collision course that will see the two most powerful forces of nature on the planet collide in a spectacular battle for the ages. As Monarch embarks on a perilous mission into uncharted terrain and unearths clues to the Titan's origins, a human conspiracy threatens to wipe the creatures, both good and bad, from the face of the Earth forever. What better way for humans to wipe out Godzilla and Kong than to create their own version of a Titan? If this theory does come to pass and Mechagodzilla ends up becoming the real big bad villain in this movie, this could turn into a Godzilla and Kong versus Mechagodzilla all-out brawl, which, by the way, is a pretty poetic segue into a potential Mecha King Ghidorah reveal, which we mentioned was previously teased for the next MonsterVerse film, where Alan Jonah harvests leftovers of Mechagodzilla to fuel the rebirth of King Ghidorah, which is the opposite of what happened in the Heisei period of Toho's Godzilla movies, where humans used the remains of Mecha King Ghidorah to construct Mechagodzilla. In the original Godzilla vs. King Kong movie released in 1962 by Toho Studios, Kong visually had severe difficulty in dealing with Godzilla because he simply wasn't physically strong enough to rough up Godzilla and had major issues with Godzilla's atomic breath. He was completely outclassed. At the very end of the film, Kong was struck with lightning from a thunderstorm and seemingly was able to harness its power to gain an incredible boost to his physical strength, allowing him to lift Godzilla completely off the ground and finally match him blow for blow. I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that a theoretical Mechagodzilla introduced in this upcoming movie could somehow supercharge Kong with electricity by accident and have that backfire on him as Kong uses it to turn the tables on Mechagodzilla. To me, all the pieces fall into place way too conveniently for Mechagodzilla not to ultimately be the main villain of the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong movie. But you guys can let me know down below in the comments what you think about this possibility, as well as anything else you want to see in this movie. This has been Goresh from 5-9 Gaming. I will catch you all in the next one.